With the Young Bucks signing a new contract and Kurt Angle saying WWE saw him as a liability during his last in-ring run, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for November 26th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at WrestlingHubOfficial and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Maven would make WWE history by being the winner of the first Tough Enough season, with him working for the company from 2001 to 2005. On that 90s wrestling podcast, Maven mentioned that he spoke to Triple H about returning to the company. Before the world was shut down before the pandemic, I actually traveled to Orlando and met with Triple H and Matt Bloom, who is running the developmental down there now, and I was talking to them about maybe doing some announcing stuff, and I did that, and I went there on March 11th of 2020, and if you remember, in America, that's the day America shut down. So I never want to turn my back or say no or it'll never happen, because I don't know. I still and will always have wrestling in my blood. I still have wrestling dreams every week. I still have a dream where I'm either putting my boots on, or I'm in the ring, or I'm getting ready to wrestle somebody, and my love for the business is never gonna leave. I would definitely entertain an opportunity to be back in wrestling in any capacity. With him not having wrestled since 2016, Maven has been working in finance since. The holidays came early here at Manscaped, the leading men's hygiene brand. Manscaped just launched new products including their all-new Ultra Premium Body Wash and a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. Go to manscaped.com and use code WrestlingUp20 for 20% off plus free shipping. It's time to leave your significant other some cookies and milk at the bottom of your chimney. I'm talking about the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. Inside the Performance Package 4.0, you'll find the Signature Lawnmower 4.0. This electric trimmer has proprietary advanced skin-safe technology to reduce cuts. It's also waterproof, so you can use it in the shower. The Manscaped Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Crop Preserver and Crop Reviver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, Moisturizer, and Toner. It's to keep your North Pole feeling and smelling fresh. This hygiene bundle will also come with a pair of Manscaped Anti-Chafing Boxers that'll keep your junk feeling fresh all day. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code WrestlingUp20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code WrestlingHub20. At WrestleMania 23, Undertaker took on Batista for the World Heavyweight title, with the dead man coming out on top. On WWE's The Bump, Taker talked about this bout, saying, "We really did have a good match. Batista had a chip on his shoulder. He wanted to go out and steal the show. He was the champion going into that match, and he felt slighted that we weren't in the main event. He was so motivated to go out there and steal the show. It was a lot of fun. I think that was one of his better matches, and not just because of me, but because of the motivation that he had. He was so in tune, and I remember coming back through the curtain after it was all over, and he came back. I remember him yelling out in Gorilla, 'Follow that,' and I was thinking to myself, that's cool, but you know, Sean still got to work." After being released from WWE in June, Ruby Soho has found her way to AEW. On the AEW Unrestricted podcast, Ruby touched on the promotion's backstage environment, saying, "In the back, on the independents, we weren't trying to come after each other's spots. We were just trying to put on the best show possible, and that's how I feel AEW is. We're a team just trying to put on the best show possible. Nobody is trying to come after anybody's spot. We're just trying to put on this product that we're all very, very proud of. It definitely has that indie wrestling feel, which is one that I love so much, where we are trying to prove ourselves, but with the arena and the national TV exposure environment. I love it. It's beautiful. It's what we all dream of as independent wrestlers. This place is like if we had to dream of a perfect place where one day we can all go to this company. We're going to be on national television, but we're going to have a say where we can be ourselves. Our boss is going to be super cool, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We can wrestle our friends. We can put on amazing matches. Like, wouldn't that be cool?" And it became a reality. With the TBS Women's Title Tournament taking place, Soho looks set to face Chris Statlander as they both look to advance. Despite having an impressive run in WWE, Ronda Rousey has not appeared for the company since losing her Raw Women's title at WrestleMania 35. With Bleacher Report, Becky Lynch hinted at facing Rousey. We have a lot of people. Then, of course, is Ronda Rousey going to be chomping at the bit to give back now that she sees what I've accomplished? Maybe she'd want to accomplish the same. Maybe she'll want to get retribution for the loss I gave her at Mania 35. The same loss that's caused me to be champion ever since. There are a lot of options. Rousey's WWE contract expired earlier this year, but Becky believes Ronda will make a comeback just to show her up. At WrestleMania 34, Charlotte Flair was able to give Asuka her first main roster loss. On his podcast, Ric Flair gave compliments to the skills of Asuka. You know, Ashley would tell me, "Dad, I will be wrestling Asuka. I really do not think I can keep up with her." That is a massive compliment, right? Because Asuka brings a style so unique, so authentic, and something that is so real. That match she and Ashley had at WrestleMania, they stole the show. I mean, they just pretty much stole the show. While Asuka is currently out of action due to injury, we hope she's able to make her return. After wrestling 19 matches following his stint as Raw GM up to his retirement bout against Baron Corbin at Mania, Kurt Angle said on Talk Is Jericho that he thinks WWE saw him as a liability due to his history of injuries. "I was hoping to have a title reign, but I think the company felt I was a liability. The painkiller thing, the injuries I was having, my broken necks. I broke my neck 4 times in WWE, so I don't think Vince had plans for me wrestling too much. I think he was more protecting me than allowing me to go ahead and wrestle. I understood that, but I didn't necessarily agree with it." Despite receiving offers from Impact and AEW, Angle has not come out of retirement to wrestle, but he is interested in managing Raw superstar and fellow Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson. Speaking of managerial roles, Kurt Angle had been offered to manage Matt Riddle after officiating his pit fight on NXT. On Talk Is Jericho, Angle revealed he had been given 2 offers by WWE. "They did offer me a few jobs though. They wanted me to be a coach at NXT. After that, WWE also wanted me to manage Matt Riddle, which I was very interested in, and I thought would be a great role. Unfortunately, the money was pretty bad. I am sorry, but when we talk about money, it better be at least worth it if we were going to do it. This amount was not worth it at all." With a rumored match between Roman Reigns and The Rock said to be taking place at a WrestleMania event down the line, former WWE referee Jimmy Corderas noted that it will be hard to wait for, especially if it doesn't happen until Mania 39. "It'll be tough, especially nowadays with the attention span being what it is from a lot of fans. I'm not saying everybody, but a lot of fans. But they are heading to Dallas, Texas Stadium for 2 nights. You want 2 huge main events, 1 for each night. Hey, maybe that is your main event. Maybe this WrestleMania that's coming up is the one to do Rock and Roman." With Candice LeRae absent from WWE programming due to pregnancy, she could see her contract extended, as was noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Candice LeRae's contract would expire in May. But the belief is that they will add at least from the period of time she was taken off television until the period she returns due to pregnancy as a contract freezing period, and if they do that, that's going to wind up a long time into the future and probably well into 2022. Speaking of contracts, the Young Bucks have apparently renewed their deal with AEW, with the Observer reporting. They did, however, sign a new contract which will keep them with the company through at least 2026. While the Bucks were not cleared to wrestle after the Full Gear pay-per-view, we should see them in action not long from now. With AEW adding Rampage to their list of shows, there are plenty of outlets for their roster to get some attention. Unfortunately, viewership has been decreasing for Rampage. It was noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that the company has a new tactic for getting fans to watch it. The only thing announced for the December 1st show is Ruby Soho versus Chris Statlander in the TBS tournament. They announced that they would announce the show on the November 26th Rampage show. It seems like that's the mindset to try and get people to watch Rampage because they reveal the Dynamite card. After being drafted to SmackDown, Drew McIntyre is looking to continue building himself up for a Universal title feud against Roman Reigns. One of the great matches McIntyre recently had was against Ricochet, where he landed a Claymore kick while Ricochet was mid-air. McIntyre would admit to Fightful that he was not sure if he landed the move. Not immediately, because I wasn't sure how the connection was, but the timing of it, you couldn't mess up a split second. It's not a case of worrying about what Ricochet does. He's such a freak athlete that he's going to do what he has to do. It's on me to do my part to look the way it's supposed to look. When I went in and made the connection, I wasn't convinced the connection was that good. You see me lie there for a second like, that was good. Did the cover? I think even fans were unsure. It happened so quick. They played the replay and I was watching it with them, and you heard the reaction. So my reaction, and I was like, oh wow, it came off exactly how I wanted it. Probably better than I wanted. It was just so split second. You had to watch the slow motion replay to see it. With Ring of Honor planning to close up shop to reinvent themselves, they released every wrestler from their contracts. Former ROH champion Jay Lethal then made his AEW debut at the Full Gear pay-per-view this month. He would go on to make his in-ring debut for the company when he faced Sammy Guevara for the TNT title, where he would come up short. Now he looks set to appear on AEW Dark Elevation on Monday to face Trenton Storm. This weekend we will see Lethal's final match for Ring of Honor, as he took part in a taped bout against EC3, with this serving as the main event. With The Undertaker recently heaping praise on Omos, saying he's the closest thing we have to Andre the Giant, the big man has now responded to this as he took to Twitter to write, "Man, I'm lost for words. Just grateful. Thank you, Undertaker." Kevin Nash would reply writing, "Soak it in. Remember what the original direction was." Kevin Nash previously stated that he expects Omos to be WWE champion in the future, with him helping Omos prepare for his in-ring debut at WrestleMania 37. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.